everyone, and welcome to another round of sound. This is the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown. We thank you so much for joining us tonight. As always, we have a lot to get into. Kyle Dubas spoke this week, and the Penguins go into the draft. They have a lot of decisions to make. We'll talk about that. Tom Barrasso enters the Hall of Fame. 17 years it took. Worth the wait. We'll talk about Tom Barrasso's career, and we'll get into the Steelers as well. But the #1 topic tonight on the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown will be the Pirates, who are 1-12 in their last 13. Here to debate, Jason Mackey from the Post-Gazette. We also have Mark Kaboly from The Athletic, and we have Will Graves, Associated Press. Jason, you chose not to go to Miami. Smart decision on your part. That was 4 days of just no offense whatsoever. Great pitching, no hitting. This has been a trend. Some of these numbers are scary how bad they've been. What do they do at this point? You know, now 4th place in the division.
To be fair, Pomp, I've seen a lot of no offense. Just missing 4 games. I've still got a pretty good picture. What they do, there's not much they can do. Really, I mean, you could fire Andy Haynes, fine. To me, I look at this, it's bigger than Andy Haynes. It's an approach thing. This team has gotten entirely too passive, looking at too many called strikes. Well, can't swing at a called strike, but you know what I mean. Called third strike. These guys are in between. Their timing is off. Everybody's seen the stat now. Sawinski, G1 Bay, Austin Hedges. There's one more in there.
Rodolfo
Castro, thank you. 1 for 92. I mean, that's horrendous. You have to get some other people here. You have to do something, but their hands are kind of tied.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a talent thing. I mean, they don't have enough good major league hitters on that.
They have more talent than 1 for 92.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think we might have more talent than 1 for 92, I'd like to think. I mean, to me, it's still, they're not going to fire the hitting coach in the middle of the season. When Kutch got his 2000th hit and we were like, he took his time, he took all those walks, and we were praising, is this something that a young team could follow the leader and have that approach to the plate? And it's like, to Jason's point, it's almost like they've taken it too far to the extreme. I mean, look, I coach really mediocre, no offense, kids, 13 and 14-year-old baseball, and I hate it when my kids watch strike 3, right? So there's guys getting paid a lot of money to get these professionals to not swing or to swing when the ball's in the strike zone. So to Jason's point, yeah, I mean, I think it's bigger than one thing. To me, it reinforces they should take Dylan Cruz 1-1. And not the pitcher.
We'll get into that in a bit. But, Mark, your take on where they are and what they need to do. They have a lot of people.
You're right. It's always been talent from this. They just masked it pretty well in the first month or so of the season. But I'm not going to sit here and destroy the Pirates. That's,
But that's
you're going to stand up?
Wait, I know that's my thing. We're past that right now. I almost give them a little bit of credit now for bringing up some of these young guys because I wasn't quite sure about it. But now you're looking at guys who are, 1 for 93, 1 for 101. Let these guys come up now and they can do just as well or just as bad. Just let them play. Let Henry Davis play. Bring Rodriguez up. Yeah. I mean, if Tamar Johnson wants to come up, bring him up. If you're going to draft a guy at LSU, the outfielder, bring him up and start him right away too. So I like that approach right now because it's just lost.
No, I want to talk about the catcher situation because I have always believed that Henry Davis was drafted to be a catcher, and if you get offense from a catcher, that's a plus. You'll probably have more of an advantage than any other team, this side of Will Smith. Why is he playing right field? Why is Austin Hedges allowed to catch every day when he can hit 0? It's like he's batting 0-0-0 for the last 2 weeks.
They don't think Austin Hedges can catch, or that Henry Davis can catch, Pomp.
But why would they draft him as a catcher then? If that's the case, don't draft him. To me, if you're drafting someone who ends up as a right fielder, he better hit 40 home runs.
A lot of hard and fair questions need to be asked. You took a guy 1-1, he's a catcher, you're not catching him. That doesn't make sense. I'm not defending the pick. I'm just explaining the reasoning. They don't have enough confidence in him behind the plate to put him there.
How does he get it without playing, though, Jason?
He doesn't.
What are you going to do, not give him a chance?
No.
Again, I didn't make the decision. I would put him back there.
Jason and I, we were both there. I think when he got called up on Monday, we asked multiple ways. On Monday and then again on Tuesday, how does he get better at catcher without playing catcher? And Shelty's like, well, we've got these things in place. He's going to do some bullpen. He's going to be in the video room. I mean, to me, the thing that's tough to watch, and if we were watching the game on, I guess it was Friday, I mean, to ask a kid to learn how to play the outfield in the major leagues, it's not like he played the outfield and that is a really rough thing. Why not just DH him and have him do as much work with the catchers as possible behind scenes? Why to put him in the field? We saw him spike the ball on the throw on Friday in the first inning, and I'm like, he had a nice assist today at the end of the game. I'm going to
credit that. Made a nice catch earlier in the series.
Catch him. Just catch him. What's going to happen? Are you going to lose?
That's what I said. You could lose with him or lose without him at catcher. So I'm going to go to another situation. So, Mark, I want to start with you on this one. And this would be on Thursday night. Mitch Keller's pitching a great game, 7 innings. To me, he looked no worse for wear. He could have gone out for the 8th. But You know, again, we have the structured bullpen. It was Moretta because there's no Colin Holderman. Because there's no Colin Holderman, I would have gone to Bednar for a 6-out save. I'm sorry, desperate times call for desperate measures. He put in Moretta. He gets in trouble. He doesn't go to Bednar even then. He goes to a rookie. What would you have done, and why did you not stick with Keller for one more inning?
You're pretty struggling right there of what to do because your bullpen is just awful, right?
Well, then stick with the starter.
I mean, you could stick with the starter.
I know
but
he had over 100 pitches.
you could.
They are married to that book, though.
Yes.
I don't mean to cut
Unless Rich
off.
Hill is on the mound, then he can go to 119.
My thought is, I mean, we saw what happened to Bednar, the day or two before that or after that, when he did have to do the 2 innings. It wasn't really great.
Saturday night,
They ended up losing that game because of that. I wouldn't really like him going to that 2 innings, but that's the perfect way to just not keep throwing Moretta out there as well. Let's try some different people
He's
who can be able to.
Yeah, I mean, I think we like the swagger that he pitches with, but I mean, like,
when he gets
like this is fun when you're striking guys out, and he got lit up against Chicago.
His stuff's been terrible.
Swear to God,
for
he
weeks.
was out of the.
What are we doing here?
I was outside the Cubs clubhouse waiting for their post game to open. Moretta who had pitched in the game, was walking by. This is 15 minutes after the game. So you got these. There's some maturity issues, obviously, that need to be addressed.
But Jason, why not Keller? I know he was over 100 pitches. Did he show you? Did you watch that? And
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have gone anywhere other than Mitch Keller and David Bednar in that game. I can't remember the actual matchups, but I mean, if you want to push Keller a little bit, fine. If you want to go David Bednar, 6-out save, I'll go down that way. I don't care which route they go. I'm not going to Moretta. I'm not going to Carmen Majinski. I don't care what else it is. Like, those are your horses.
Right.
In that game, Shelton should have stuck with the 2 of them. However you mix and match those 6 outs, I don't care.
And that
Is it worth it though? If you have any,
Yes, it's worth it.
To win what? To go win
To
1 out
snap
of
a
2 out of
terrible
17
losing
games?
streak.
And
You don't know that at the time.
You're possibly putting Keller in.
You don't know that. Are you arguing to pitch Darty Moretta in a game? Like, what?
No.
It's
You
a
have
tough
competent
situation.
major league pitchers. Use them.
It is a tough situation because they were competitive early in the season. Now maybe the stakes and the division is bad, so maybe you think these games are meaningful. But I mean, I think when we were sitting here before the season started. To Mark's point, like if you're going to win 70 games, I want to win 70 games with guys that are going to be around that might be around when you win maybe 80, 85, 90 games in a few years down there. So it's good that Gonzalez is up. It's good that Davis is up. It's good that Majinski's up because you need to find out what you have. So and Moretta, who has not been great lately. I think he's pretty good. So I am on board with the, you know what, let's find out who we are with these guys instead of, I understand you want to win the game, but big picture here, it's one game, Pomp.
It's one game, but it's just been a bad stretch. Again, 1-12. When we come back, we're going to talk about the Pirates are going to have the #1 pick in this year's draft. Who should it be? We'll get into that and whether or not there should be sellers at the trade deadline. Again, we'll get into that and more as we continue right here with the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown.
#1 Cochran Sports Showdown is brought to you by #1 Cochran. Go one better.